So for me personally, I never saw music as the end goal. So, you know, I'm Chinese. I went and did pure and applied in CEGEP, pure and applied science in CEGEP, and I studied physics and then computer science in university. And I worked in that field for a certain amount of time. But then I decided to change my life around, and I started pursuing music as a full-time thing. I quit my job, and I went back to school and studied music, and I realized that this was really where I wanted to, or at least I wanted to try. I wanted to see. I was getting older, and I was just like, man, if I don't give this a shot now, I'm never going to know. In the early days, the band was primarily composed of people from different projects that I was already playing in. As I mentioned, Pneumatic Massive, Home Unity, Voxon Blues Project, a bunch of different projects that I kind of grabbed different people from. As time went on, it started to be, well, of course it was just like word of mouth, like, you know, the drummer's like, hey, I know this great bass player, you know, whatever. And then as time went on, it was the jam itself, right? Because people were coming to the jam, and I would be like, oh, that guy can really play. Like, let's see what happens. You know, maybe eventually, maybe they'll be in the house band eventually. You know, I would say now in the current state of the lineup, I would say more than 50% of the band comes from people that I met through the jam itself. So it's really become its own self-perpetuating source of talent. So I changed my life around in order to pursue music full time. So as I said earlier, I was working in computers. Working in the computer industry, I could have been a multi-millionaire at this point. You know, I started up during the dot-com boom, but I decided to stop doing that for many reasons, but mostly because I love music. I know that sounds corny. I remember years ago when I was in school, there was a class where we had different professionals from the music industry that would come in and talk about stuff. And there was one thing that really stuck to me. I can't remember who it was, but they said, if you can imagine yourself doing anything other than music to make a living, then do that. Because you have to do music if you cannot imagine yourself doing anything else. You have to do music if you have to. Like it is so painful. It is so, there's no money. It's constant rejection. It's you know, it's a hell of a grind. You know, so you better really want it.